And we are live. How is it going, everybody? This is Robbie1 Kenobi, and this is my much-awaited 50 subscribers Q&A. For some of you that may not know, I reached a little over 50 subscribers. I want to say couple weeks ago. Now I'm up to 60 subscribers, but about 2 weeks ago I reached over 50 subscribers, and I decided that I wanted to celebrate that accomplishment by having a Q&A. I want to thank everybody who sent me their questions. I also want to thank everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Like I said, I'm now up to 60 subscribers, and I think what I'm going to do is every 50 subscribers I get, I'll do a Q&A. So like I said, thank you to the 50 plus subscribers that I have now. I have 60, like I said, and thank you to everyone who sent me questions. So without any further ado, my 50 subscribers Q&A. Now, I'm going to start this Q&A off by answering the 2 most common questions that people ask me, and then I'm going to get to the questions that were left in my Q&A announcement video. And I'm also going to check Twitter and, of course, the live stream video itself for comments and questions. I do welcome extra comments and questions while you're watching this live. So without any further ado, let's get right down to it. So like I said, I'm going to answer the first 2 common questions that I'm asked when I tell people I'm a wrestling fan. First question is, how did I get into professional wrestling? When did I start watching professional wrestling? I started watching professional wrestling in 1996. It was March of 1996 that I first was introduced to professional wrestling, specifically the World Wrestling Federation. And the first ever segment I remember watching at from WWF was the segment where Diesel attacked Paul Bearer. That was continuing the feud between Undertaker and Diesel. That was building toward the WrestleMania 12 match, and I remember seeing that for the first time, and I remember feeling bad for Paul Bearer because, well, the funny thing is I didn't even know who Paul Bearer was. I didn't know who any of these guys were when I first tuned into WWF. I think it was Superstars, but yeah, I didn't know who any of these guys were, and I just felt bad for Paul Bearer getting beat up like that. And I remember seeing Undertaker, and just, like, I guess you could say I was amazed at his persona and whatnot, and I remember just cheering for him. So that was the first time I was exposed to professional wrestling. It was in 1996. It was March 1996. But I think prior to watching WWF in 96, I knew who Hulk Hogan was. And I had been a fan of that movie No Holds Barred. You know, it's not the greatest film, but it's a guilty pleasure. You could say it's somewhat of a cult classic. So I actually knew who Hogan was, but I didn't start watching wrestling until 1996. And then who is my favorite wrestler of all time? Hands down, Shawn Michaels. You know, Shawn Michaels. I did a fan interaction, a fan challenge where I was required to answer who my favorite wrestler was. Shawn Michaels. I mean, what can I say about Shawn Michaels that hasn't already been said? He's just my favorite of all time. He was the one that really got me hooked into professional wrestling when I started watching it. His matches were just like big events to me, and he was just like an amazing performer. So I first started watching wrestling in 1986, March 1986 to be exact, and my favorite wrestler of all time is Shawn Michaels. And I'm probably gonna do a 20-year strong Q&A this March to commemorate the fact that I've been a wrestling fan for 20 years. I might do that, I might not, but keep your eyes open for any Q&A announcement, any announcement regarding, you know, the 20th anniversary of me being a wrestling fan. So with that said, let's get down to the questions that you guys sent me on YouTube. We're gonna start off with Mr. WWE Freak 2012, aka Travis. First question is, what's your thoughts on the Authority running things in the WWE? You know, the Authority are the on-screen villains, bad guys that you love to boo. I mean, you really can't have Mr. McMahon on TV as much, so you got to go with Triple H and Stephanie, and I think they play great heels as the Authority. Um, I mean, they're pretty much the Mr. McMahon character, so to speak, that the top stars have to go up against. I mean, if the Authority doesn't like a certain superstar, or that superstar um, resents them, like, goes up against them, then the Authority's gonna do whatever they have to do to make that person's life, a living hell. So, I mean, like I said, Stephanie and Triple H are great heels. Um, though I honestly thought after Survivor Series 2014 that was going to be the end of the Authority, when Team Cena beat Team Authority. But lo and behold, they came back on the final Raw of 2014. Eventually, I do think the Authority will eventually go out of power for good. Maybe by the end of this year, maybe sooner. Because you can only run with that storyline for a certain amount of time. It can only go so far until it's run its course. But to answer your question, Travis, because I have other questions I want to get to. They're the typical heel faction that you love to boo. They're the Authority. And I think Stephanie and Triple H are great heels. Second question: what is your favorite hobby besides making videos for YouTube? I love playing video games and going out to movies and hanging out with friends. Typical hobbies that pretty much that everybody loves to do. I have a PS3 if you're curious. I don't have a PS4. I really do not see myself upgrading to a PS4 because I have so many game systems that after a while you just aren't into buying systems, and they take up a lot of room in your they take up a lot of space in your room. But yeah, my favorite hobbies besides making videos on YouTube: hanging out with friends, hanging out with family, watching TV, watching movies, and playing video games, and watching professional wrestling too. Favorite WrestleMania moment? My favorite WrestleMania moment, I don't know if I could say it's my all-time favorite WrestleMania moment, but my favorite moment is WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The moment when Hogan starts, hulking up, and that crowd in Toronto just goes absolutely insane. And when Hogan drops the leg drop, and Jim Ross drops that iconic line. Excuse me, when Jim Ross drops that iconic line, he beat Andre the Giant with that move. That just gives me goosebumps, and that crowd counting and their reactions to that moment. That's my favorite WrestleMania moment. I can't really say it's my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time, but that undoubtedly was one hell of a WrestleMania moment. Like, that's my favorite WrestleMania moment off the top of my head. Hogan hulking up at 18, and that Toronto crowd just going insane for that moment. It was pure nostalgia, and JR's call when Hogan drops the leg on The Rock was just priceless. It was classic, and it gives me goosebumps. And his last question: what do you use to record your videos with? Webcam or a digital camera or cell phone? I use a Logitech HD C525 webcam. I've had it for about 4 years now. The quality for the most part is good, but after the inconvenience of me filming my Heritage Blaster Box break yesterday and the webcam going out of focus for like a good 2-3 minutes, I think I'm gonna upgrade to a new webcam. I have used my iPhone once to upload a video, and that was the very first trading card break I did when it was Road to WrestleMania 2014. But for the most part, I use my Logitech HD C525 webcam. Thank you for the questions, Travis. He also wished me a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and he congratulated me on 50 subs. So thank you, Travis, for your questions, and thank you for the support. Next set of questions comes from my little brother from another mother, the Wrestling Fan 16, aka the Gamer Man 16, aka Brandon. Thank you very much for your questions, man. He says, congrats, bro, on 50 subscribers. My questions are as follows. Question 1, what is your favorite show on the WWE Network? My two favorite shows on the network are NXT, of course, and Breaking Ground. Breaking Ground is going to have its season finale tonight, which focuses on NXT TakeOver Respect. But Breaking Ground has been a great show. And then, of course, NXT, because NXT is the future. I love watching the stars like Balor, Bayley, Apollo Crews, Samoa Joe, Enzo and Cass, Carmella. I love watching NXT because you get a good show for the most part for 1 hour every Wednesday. You get to see the future stars of WWE. You get to see them built and established on NXT. I love Asuka as well. I love what NXT is doing with their women's division. They're really giving the women on NXT a chance to shine and to revolutionize the sport. I mean, what is there about? I mean, what can you say against NXT? They're doing everything right. The main roster is unfortunately doing wrong. I love NXT. It's my favorite. It and Breaking Ground are my two favorite programs to watch on the WWE Network. And it's like I said, I mean, NXT is the future. What can you say negative about NXT? Look at how far they've come, and look at what they're doing. I mean, they're having that cross-country trip these next few weeks, months. They've sold out a bunch of shows. NXT TakeOver Dallas sold out in, I think, 15 minutes. NXT is the brand in professional wrestling, and I just love watching NXT on Wednesdays. Excuse me. What is your favorite wrestling video game of all time? This is the second question. Favorite wrestling game of all time have to be No Mercy. I mean, that's probably the consensus answer for a lot of wrestling fans. But for me, No Mercy 2000 on the N64 just brought back a lot of great memories. I would play that game constantly. It was just very in-depth with the championship mode, how there was different paths you could take if you won or lost a match. The roster at that time was stacked. The hidden characters were great. Just No Mercy did everything right. That was just one of my favorite. That is undoubtedly my favorite wrestling game of all time. And it continued that tradition with WCW NWO Revenge and WrestleMania 2000 with that same gameplay engine. And it was just, it's just a lot of fun. I can still play that game today and have a blast. I love the Create a Superstar mode. And just like I said, the characters in it, you had the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, The Rock, Triple H, just everyone who was at the top, excuse me, all those top superstars and divas, I loved it. That just No Mercy has it. That's my favorite video game of all time. Now, if you were to ask me what's my favorite wrestling video game currently, I'd go with 2K14, WWE 2K14, because that game had it as well. And that was just one hell of a game for the very first title to be released under the WWE 2K name. But my favorite wrestling video game of all time is WWF No Mercy 2000. Excuse me. What toppings do you like on pizza? Pepperoni, sausage, olives, bell peppers, mushrooms, and every once in a while ham and pineapple. My favorite two styles of pizza are I'm a round table guy, so I go with Guinevere's Garden, which is your basic vegetarian pizza. But I also like I'm also a meat lover, so I love pepperoni, sausage. Every once in a while we get like ham, pineapple and ham, and I'm fine with that. So yeah, those are pretty much my favorite toppings: olives, bell peppers, mushrooms, pepperoni, and sausage, and pineapple every once in a while. And his last question, and this is a question I've been looking forward to answering ever since he left it on this video. Have you played any of the Tony Hawk games? If so, which one is your favorite? Yes, I have played the Tony Hawk games in the past. I've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I have not played Underground. I haven't played any of the new Tony Hawk games. I have not played Tony Hawk in years, to be honest, but I have played Pro Skater 1, Pro Skater 2, and Pro Skater 4. And Pro Skater 4 would probably be my favorite because well, one, I own the game. I specifically wanted it for the GameCube when it came out in 2002. Excuse me. Um, yeah, and I just was like very invested in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I loved completing the challenges. The mini games were really fun. I remember there was one where you had to sketch on the back of an elephant in the zoo, and you had to like avoid its crap. Like you couldn't like you had to sketch on it while the elephant was shooting crap out of its ass, which was it sounds disgusting, but it was a fun game to play. There was also a mini game where you played tennis with your skateboard. Going back to the zoo level, I remember there was a portion in the zoo where you could do this massive jump into like the lion's cage, and you could like sketch on the top, and you could practice your moves and everything. I feel like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 just opened up the environments more, so you had more freedom to roam around and do tricks. That game was a lot of fun. It got frustrating because some of the missions were challenging to complete, but overall Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was just a lot of fun to play. I loved how they had Jango Fett from Star Wars Episode 2 as a hidden character, and there was one professional skater who was a hidden character as well. I don't remember his name. There was an alien that was unlockable, and then my personal favorite hidden character was a female skater named Daisy, who was modeled after Jenna Jameson. And if you know who Jenna Jameson is, then you pretty much you're pretty aware how hot Daisy in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is. I thought the character was beautiful for a video game character, and like I said, she's modeled after Jenna Jameson. So yeah, you know the girl hot, and the girl had her special was a banana split handstand, which I don't know if you can pull that off in real life, but that move was just really cool to pull off. So yeah, my favorite Tony Hawk Pro Skater, my favorite Tony Hawk game, Brandon, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Thank you very much for your questions. Next couple questions come from Gold Standard 000, aka Ross. Thank you for your questions, Ross. First question he asked is favorite superhero movie. Hands down, the Avengers. Marvel's The Avengers was just an incredible superhero film. I think it's the best superhero film of all time. You know, it just had that magic and that it factor of all 6 Avengers being on screen, and then that one iconic moment, that one circling shot of all 6 of them assembled, ready for battle against the Chitauri. That movie was just amazing. I can still watch that movie to this day and enjoy it. It was just incredible, an incredible piece of film from Joss Whedon. Still my favorite superhero film to this day, and it's most likely my favorite superhero movie of all time. And his second question is, what was your favorite wrestling show you ever attended? WrestleMania 31. I mean, I'm probably sounding biased because, yeah, I was there. Well, I mean, he asked what's my favorite wrestling show that I ever attended. WrestleMania 31. It was just an incredible show, and the weekend itself was just incredible. You know, I did Access, I did WrestleCon, and then we did the WrestleMania 31 show itself, and being at Levi's Stadium and just being there to witness, you know, Seth Rollins cash in Money in the Bank was just an incredible, incredible moment. My first WrestleMania, what a WrestleMania it was, and the weekend experience itself was just incredible. So yeah, WrestleMania 31, definitely my favorite wrestling show that I've ever attended. And I might sound a little biased with that answer because I have been to other wrestling shows, but that was just an incredible show. I loved it, and considering all the hype, well, considering how the show was built and it had really bad built, this show delivered big time. So yeah, WrestleMania 31 is my favorite show that I've attended. Thank you again, Ross, for your questions. Next set of questions comes from AHS Rules, aka Austin. Thank you, Austin, for your questions. First question he asks is, best APW show you have seen? Well, I've only been to 2 APW shows, but the best show I've been to probably was the most recent one I went to, which was Halloween Hell. That show was just a lot of fun. It was real good show for the most part. You had a good hard-hitting match between Jeff Cobb and Gangrel. You had a good women's match between Thunder Rosa and Nicole Savoy. You had a wild fight between, it was called a boot camp match. I believe it was a boot camp match. It was this wild fight between Will Cuevas and Bad Boy Boyce Legrand that went all over the gymnasium that we were that the show was being held in. A really good APW Universal Heavyweight Championship match between JR Kratos and Jekyll, and then a great wrestling match between MVP and Timothy Thatcher. So yeah, Halloween Hell, APW Halloween Hell is my favorite APW show that I've attended. Like I said, I've only attended 2. Both shows were really good, but I think my favorite was Halloween Hell. Halloween Hell was just a stacked card when you look at it. Favorite Young Bucks match? Well, I hate to disappoint you, Austin, but I really haven't seen a lot of Young Bucks matches, so I can't really answer that. I mean, I saw clips of the match from they were in at Wrestle Kingdom 9 last year, but I really haven't watched a lot of Young Bucks matches, so I really can't answer that question. I hope to watch some Young Bucks matches throughout 2016, and hopefully when I do another Q&A, I'll have seen more, and I will come back to this question eventually and tell you what's my favorite Young Bucks match that I've seen. Would you buy the Kevin Owens shorts on WWE Shop? Not really. I mean, I really don't see the purpose in buying them because they are replica shorts of the ones Kevin Owens wears when he wrestles. But I just don't see the purpose of like buying them. Yeah, so I'm gonna most likely pass on those Kevin Owens fight shorts. And his last question, did you used to get called on your cell phone? Did I used to get, okay, that question kind of confuses me. Did I used to get called? On my old cell phones, yeah, I used to get lots of calls. But I'm not sure exactly what you mean by did I used to get called on me. But yeah, I took calls from my I took calls on my cell phones. I just don't understand that question. If you're watching this, Austin, in the comments section, can you clarify what exactly you meant by did you used to get called? I mean, if you're asking me that I used to use my old cell phones a lot, yeah, I used to get calls on those, but I don't know exactly what you mean by this question. But thank you for your questions. Appreciate it, and definitely look forward to having you in my next hangout. So what I'm going to do right now, guys, is I'm going to go to the comments section of this live stream, and I am going to see if anybody left me. Oh, hey. All right, I got a couple comments from Brandon, aka Wrestling Fan 16. First comment: I actually might do one for me being a fan of wrestling for 10 years. I just got to get more subscribers. You just gave me a good idea as well. Well, that's awesome, Brandon. Congratulations on being a 10-year wrestling fan. I look forward to watching your video when you do it. Hey, man, I got Skype, so if you want to do a video together, we can celebrate us being fans for at least 10 years. Maybe we could do something together, or you can do your own thing, I can do my own thing, and maybe we can do a collaboration afterwards. And he also wrote, Tony Hawk's Underground is my favorite in the series, followed by Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, then 4. I beat Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 100% on both PS2 and GameCube. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations to you. As far as I'm concerned, I still have ways to go in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, but like I said, 4 is my favorite because of the challenges, the mini games, and the variety of characters. It was just a lot of fun to play that game like 10 plus years ago, 14 years ago, 13 and a half to be exact. But yeah, that was just a lot of fun to play. And yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it later, later this week or later tonight, depending on how I'm feeling. But yeah, all right. So with that said, let's get back to the questions. Three sets of questions left. First up, 4 questions from my man, Mr. Paul JB44. Who was your favorite wrestler from ECW? Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam, hands down. What he did in the ring was just incredible. You know, his athleticism, his agility. Rob Van Dam was awesome, and you know, this is no pun, but Rob Van Dam was one of a kind. He was just great, man. I mean, look at his reign as TV champion. He almost went 2 years as TV champion. Had he not broken his ankle against Rhino in that house show match they had, he would have been the only 2-year champion in professional wrestling history. That would have been incredible. But I mean, for the fact that he almost did hold it for 2 years is still an incredible feat, but a little bittersweet, of course, because he shattered his ankle and that prevented him from wrestling. But yeah, Rob Van Dam was definitely my favorite wrestler in ECW from what I watched, and he was definitely my favorite wrestler during the Invasion. What's your favorite match that you've seen at APW? Joey Ryan versus Willie Mack. That was just a great wrestling match. That was from the APW Bayshore Bash show in 2014 that I went to. And that's the show where I actually met Paul in person for the first time. That match was just great wrestling. I knew who those 2 guys were, but I had never seen them wrestle in person. And that match was just incredible. That indeed was the match of the night from Bayshore Bash 2014. And I can't believe it's already been more than a year since that APW show where I first met you, Paul. That's just crazy. But yeah, Joey Ryan versus Willie Mack from Bayshore Bash 2014 is definitely my favorite match from APW that I've seen so far. Have you ever asked Siri what 0 divided by 0 is? No, I haven't, but I might. I might after this Q&A just for the hell of it. And his last question, who is your favorite NXT diva besides Bayley? Asuka, hands down. I mean, that girl is beautiful and that girl is a badass. She is lovely and she is lethal. I love when she has that look on her face, that like kind of creepy smile, that like not sinister, but that like I don't know how to describe it but when she gets that look on her face, you best get the hell out of there or she will kick your ass. Asuka is just awesome. I love her, and she's definitely going to be the future of the women's division of NXT. So thank you, Paul, for your questions. Excuse me. Thanks for your questions, Paul. Definitely hope to have you in my next hangout. Hope you're doing well. Next set of questions comes from my bro out in New Zealand, Breather35. Just had to do the impersonation because you know you're one of my boys. He also congratulated me on 50+ subscribers. Thank you, Breather. And his questions are, what are my wrestling resolutions for 2016? That's a good one. Try to start watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. Try to keep up with ROH. Go to a WWE or NXT live show in the Bay Area. There is one in February, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go now because I really want floor seats, and if I don't get floor seats, then I pretty much don't want to go. Meet a bunch of my favorite wrestlers, but that could be like a video for another day. I want to buy that Finn Balor Elite Demon figure, but I want to wait a little while. I want to wait till it's like 20 bucks or even cheaper, because right now it's being sold on Ringside Collectibles for 30 bucks, and I really don't see myself putting down 30 bucks for a figure. And then in terms of like wrestling related videos, just continue to put out the best product possible with my videos here on my channel. Maybe get some new equipment so I can enhance my videos, you know, colorful thumbnails and whatnot. But those are pretty much my wrestling resolutions for 2016. Watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. No, I haven't seen Wrestle Kingdom. I've read 1 or 2 results. I'm trying to figure out how to watch Wrestle Kingdom 10. Catch up on ROH if possible, or just watch ROH and stay up to date with it. Go to a show this year, at least one, especially from WWE or NXT if they come to the Bay Area. And yeah, buy some more figures that I like. maybe get him signed, and keep doing the best I can with my videos. Keep plugging out videos and connecting with more people in the YWC. So those are my wrestling resolutions for 2016. Next question: how come you don't watch ROH? Well, Bretha, I was keeping up to date with ROH from its debut on Destination America until I want to say August, this past August. And the reason I don't watch as much ROH is because lately, ever since August, I started working late nights on Wednesdays, so I would miss ROH when it would air live. And then I have on demand, Xfinity on demand, but under the Destination America channel in the on demand option, they never would make the episodes available, which I thought was stupid because the Spike TV channel on demand would get the replays of TNA, wrestling, Impact Wrestling, like the day after they aired on Spike. And the same thing for Lucha Underground with Unimas and El Rey. So I know there's the ROH, like the ROH on demand site service where I can watch like all the previous episodes and matches and whatnot for like $8. I'm still contemplating whether or not I should get it. But for those of you watching this, like, let me know in the comment section whether or not I should subscribe to the ROH service. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't remember having, I can't really recall last Wednesday I had off where I could watch ROH. Now, if I start getting more Wednesdays off, then I will start watching ROH and keeping up with it. Other than that, I'm going to have to rely on like on demand or something like that. But yeah, that's why I haven't watched ROH in a while. How do you brush and groom your hair like you do's? Basically, I just, wash it, of course, when I'm in the shower. I used to use gel a lot. I was a big gel user, but I stopped using gel like more than 5 years ago. I basically just wet my hair and I brush it. And of course, when it gets long, I when it gets long, I get it cut, and it's easier to keep, to keep it nice and neat and everything. That's basically what I do. It's just wash it. When I go out, I wet it a little bit, then I comb it back, and of course, when it gets long, I get it cut. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have any special rituals or routines or anything for brushing and grooming my hair. I just keep it nice and neat. That's pretty much it. Just, the standard way. And I like that question, Breathe. I thought that was very creative, you coming up with a question like that. And final question is, what is your favorite thing about making videos for YouTube? Just displaying exhibiting my passion for professional wrestling, how proud I am to be a professional wrestling fan, and getting to interact with fellow fans like you and Paul and Jack and Stevie Breach and them. That's my favorite part of making videos, just sharing my videos with you guys and sharing my passion for wrestling, my love for professional wrestling, how proud I am to be a fan. And I'm always looking to better myself, and I'm always looking to come up with unique and creative ways to enhance my videos and whatnot, to gain more subscribers, to gain more followings and whatnot. So that's pretty much my favorite thing about making videos here on YouTube. Thank you again for your questions, Bretha, and definitely look forward to having you in my next hangout. And last but not least, final set of questions comes from Mildly Moderate Red 29, my man Jack. Thank you for your questions. Congrats, man, on 50 subs. Well deserved. Thank you very much. Favorite match from any NXT takeover? Well, if you saw my my year-end awards show, you know that I gave Match of the Year honors to Bayley and Sasha Banks for their incredible match at TakeOver Brooklyn. But I'm not going to use that as my answer for your question. My favorite match, it is one of my favorite matches from any NXT TakeOver special. But to answer this question, my favorite match from NXT TakeOver, not named Sasha Banks versus Bayley from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And this match just recently happened, and I thought it was an incredible championship match. Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe for the NXT Championship from London. I thought that was an incredible championship match, and it was a fight. It was not a it wasn't a match where Joe was running away or anything, like using cheap tactics to get the upper hand. He came to fight the Demon Finn Balor, and he almost beat the Demon Finn Balor. I just loved the booking in that match. The match itself was incredible. So Balor versus Joe from London is my favorite match from any NXT Takeover special. Best wrestler in TNA right now. Well, honestly, Jack, I don't watch TNA. I have not watched TNA in years, but I know that this guy is like the only saving grace of TNA, and that's Ethan Carter III. So I'm gonna go with EC3 as best wrestler in TNA right now. Favorite Jedi or Sith? Well, I'd have to say favorite Jedi. Well, you know what? I'm going to answer both, actually, my friend. My favorite Jedi is Luke Skywalker. My favorite Sith would have to be... Well, of course, Darth Vader's iconic, but I think my favorite Sith would have to be Darth Maul for the simple fact that he had a double-bladed lightsaber, and, like, I just thought his character, his presentation and everything was really cool. So my favorite Jedi is Luke Skywalker, and my favorite Sith is Darth Maul. I know you asked favorite Jedi or Sith, but you know what, man? I have a favorite Jedi and a Sith, so I thought, what the hell? My Q&A, why don't I give you an extra answer and answer both favorite Jedi and favorite Sith. And final question, best Marvel film in the last 5 years. Marvel's The Avengers. Like I was saying earlier, that film was just an incredible piece of film. That was an incredible movie. It had all the elements that remind us as moviegoers of why we go to the movies. You know, a great cast, great action, great special effects, a great mid-credit scene that had my jaw drop and had me so freaking excited for the second Avengers film. You know, Marvel's The Avengers, I don't see any Marvel film touching it in terms of being the best Marvel film of all time. Avengers Age of Ultron was a great follow-up. I thought that was a stellar follow-up, but I don't think it's better than the original Avengers movie. Civil War looks like it's going to be awesome. Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, was great. But my favorite movie, I think the best Marvel film in the last 5 years has to be Marvel's The Avengers. The first Avengers movie was just incredible because it had that magic, and I don't think you're ever going to recreate that magic again the way that Marvel's The Avengers did. So right now, okay, so I'm back on the live video, live stream, of course. No new questions or comments. I'm gonna check Twitter real quick to see if anyone else left me. Well, if you guys remember, I said if you're gonna tweet me, use the hashtag AskRobbie, but I guess there is some guy that has a username on Twitter that is AskRobbie, and when fans ask him questions, they use the hashtag AskRobbie for the next Q&A for when I get like 100 subscribers, or if I do if I do my 20 years strong as a professional wrestling fan Q&A, I might have a hashtag like Robbie, hashtag Robbie 20 years, or hashtag wrestling Robbie 20 or something like that to separate me from Robbie K, whoever Robbie K is. I think that's pretty much it, guys, with questions. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who sent me your questions, and I want to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel. I appreciate your support and your comments and whatnot, your likes. Yeah, it's pretty much it. I think I'm just gonna end the video right here because I have no more questions or comments, unless, of course, you want to send me something like right now in the next like minute before I sign off. I think I'm just gonna end the video right here. I don't have any more questions and or comments. But this was a lot of fun, guys. I've always wanted to do a Q&A for my channel. So thank you to the 50 plus subscribers who made this happen. Thank you again to everyone that sent me questions. Please continue to support my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And until my next video, guys, have a good day, have a good night. And I just want to say cheers to 60 subscribers, and cheers to 40 more, and another 50, and another 50, and so forth. So thank you guys for watching. Excuse me. Hope you're all having a great start to your 2016. I want to wish you all a happy new year, and I'll see you all later. And until next time, to quote We Are Pro Wrestling, until next time, peace.